Bob's Breakfast.
Hey, talk about killer heels. A lady wearing stilettos with guns for spikes. Yeah, instead of stilettos, barrels of guns. She had a few problems, as you might imagine, in airport security in Baltimore, Washington. So I'd like to know, when have you been stopped going somewhere? Maybe onto public transport, maybe into a venue of some kind. Where have you been stopped from going? Chris?
I've been stopped getting into a strip club because I had a beanie on.
Really? It's unusual for a strip club to be where people aren't wearing very much, to be fussy about you wearing...
Yeah.
It was a beanie hat.
Yeah, you know, the bobble hat.
A bobble hat. It's
Well,
not...
they call them beanies in Australia, don't they?
Oh, so was it in Australia this happened?
No, it's in this country, in the East End.
So you're wearing a bobble hat, you try to get in the strip club and they said, I'm sorry, no, that's... So what else were you wearing? If you were only wearing a bobble hat, I kind of get that.
No, it's just, excuse me. I was wearing my work clothes.
Oh, what was your job?
A grease monkey, a mechanic.
Right, so you're wearing overalls and a bobble hat, and they said the problem was with the bobble hat.
Yeah.
Right, not with the overalls.
No, but they let me in the end.
Did they wearing overalls straight from work?
Well, I took them off and then took my beanie off.
Yeah.
And then they let me in, and I got slung out anyway because I wouldn't tip the girls.
Because you wouldn't tip the girls?
No, because, you know, they're taking their kit off and all this.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I've never been to a strip club, but I kind of get the idea of how it works. So you're expected to put fivers in their drawers, are you?
Well, yeah, something like that, but... You know, I said to the girls, I've come there for a drink and that. I said I've seen it all before and that. I said, like,
you're a man of the world, yeah.
Innit?
Yeah, but so they wouldn't let you in, and then eventually they did, and then they kicked you out.
Yeah.
That wasn't a very good night at all then, was it?
I just went somewhere else.
Yeah, go somewhere. And it wasn't another strip club, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was, and they let you in and there was no problems there?
Well, at one point, it's when I was more younger back in the day.
Yeah.
We used to know all the strip clubs.
Did you really? All right, well, we're getting into the way too much information portion of the conversation, but thanks for calling, Chris. Something interesting happened to you, James Spence.
Before my friend Alex passed away, he's my best man for my wedding. He planned my stag do.
Right.
And I had no idea what was going to happen. All I was told was to turn up with my passport to the Slug and Lettuce in Harpenden, and we would just go from there, basically. So that's what I did last Friday. Mm-hmm. Turned up at the Slug and Lettuce, and ended up being dressed into an adult leather suit, and sort of paraded about a bit, which...
How did they convince you to get in the suit? Because there must have been some compliance on your part here.
I thought the best course of action was to comply with what they wanted, because I thought it could only get 10 times worse.
Right, probably a good idea.
Comply.
Yeah.
So I got into the suit, had a couple of drinks, and then my good friend Jamie decided that it might be a good idea to have a photo taken out near the front of where the George pub is, which is across the road.
So when they're convincing you to get in the suit, you're in the pub at this stage?
Yeah, I'm in the... Yes, yeah. I changed into it in the Slug and Lettuce, and they decided that it'd be good to have some photographs done. Mm-hmm. So, taking me outside...
No, you weren't suspicious at this stage. You didn't ask the question, why can't you just take the photographs in the pub?
No, honestly, I wasn't suspicious at this time or anything of what they had planned for me. Mm-hmm. So as I've walked up to cross over to go to the George, they've said, "Oh, this would be the perfect spot to have the pictures taken."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realise this is that there was a massive. There was obviously a massive pole behind me,
mm-hmm.
and as I've gone to put my arms around the guys for the photo, they've managed to get my arms behind my back, and they've just quickly duct taped me to the post,
Mm-hmm.
and left me there for 10 to 15 minutes whilst everyone obviously have harpened and had a good nosy.
So what were they doing at the time while you're duct taped to the post?
They went in back into the slug and lettuce and enjoyed a few drinks whilst obviously
You're on your own.
Yeah, whilst I'm obviously on my own, and you know, that's it. To be fair, they didn't actually come and undo me or anything. I managed to somehow break myself free from it after 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes, so it wasn't that long, but there is a video of it.
There is, yes.
And that's kind of gone worldwide.
Yeah, which obviously I didn't ever expect it to, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's not something that you normally see in Harpenden Town Centre.
No, it's quite
on a Friday.
Yeah, and how do we see the video?
You can. It's linked on my friend's Facebook page. I mean, it's been shared everywhere. That it's on the Hearts.
I'm sure we can get it on our Facebook.
Can we get it? Can we do that, Laura?
Yeah.
Can we get it on our Facebook page, bobfm.co.uk? Oh yeah, we'll do that just to make sure. Now, you say your mate Alex passed away.
Yeah.
What do you think he'd make of all this?
Well, this is. I think this is exactly what he would have wanted. To be honest.
Right.
I mean, he was always the centre of, like, all the jokes and everything like that. If you ever spoke to any of my friends, they would tell you exactly the same. So he had this, before he passed away, I think he had this planned to an absolute point.
Right.
To be honest, this is what he would have wanted. And, you know, the whole weekend was planned by him from start to finish.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm just glad I've come back in one piece.
Yes.
And,
but a fitting tribute to your old mate, really.
Yeah, it is.
So that's good.
Yeah, it's a proper fitting tribute, and we are going to be holding an event for him on the 1st of May, which is we're doing a football tournament down in Sandridge Rovers FC. He used to play for them.
Yeah.
So there's going to be that. There's going to be that going on, and all the money's donated to Crohn's and Colitis UK.
Right, that's great.
That's who he worked for. And, you know, we just try and do everything because we're such a close knit of friends.
Yeah.
That, you know, we just want his memory to live on, and this is what the Stag do's done, really. Is with it going viral.
Yeah, well, it might raise some more money
really.
At the event. How do we get more information, or how do people find out more about that? About the event?
The event is on the Facebook. Is on the Facebook page. It's also.
We can rip that off too, can't
I'm
we?
sure we
can get
we'll
that
share
on.
that.
Get it on a bob along as well.
Yeah.
Something to bob along too.
Yeah.
Might be good. That'd be great. Thanks for that, Laura.
It would be great to obviously have people come down and support it.
Well, they can meet you as well because you're famous now.
I'm due to get married on the 26th of March to my beautiful fiancée Lisa.
And what does Lisa think of all this?
Lisa can't believe how much it's been received, really.
Yes, but does she think you're a bit of an idiot for wearing the suit in the first place?
I think she knows.
Yeah, girls don't get that kind of humour. They don't.
Yeah, I know, and it really is a boy's thing to do.
Yeah,
but she's taken it in great humour.
Yeah,
I mean, it was on Harpenden Parents Network, and there was a load of well wishers on there saying, your hubby to be's taking it in good spirits and everything like that. So, she's found the funny side of it, so I'm quite lucky.
Oh, that's all right, because I'm glad the marriage is still going ahead as planned. I would hate for this to, put the kibosh on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still going ahead, so I'm clear for that one.
James Spence, thanks very much. We can see it. We'll get all the details of the video. We'll get the video on there. We'll get the details of the football, the fundraiser as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'll get that on at bobfm.co.uk, and we'll sort all that out. And all the best. And I hope the marriage, there's no mishaps on the marriage and the honeymoon, and everything goes fine. But thanks for sharing.
Lovely. Thank you, Graham.
Cheers, James. James
Take
Spence.
care.
You've probably seen him in his video dressed in an adult leather suit, shall we say, duct taped to a lamppost in Harpenden.
Bob's Breakfast.
Let's get the latest news now with Chris Hubbard.
We hear so much about drones in the news. There were all sorts of warnings before Christmas. Well, now a Chinese company is testing out a passenger drone. So this is one of the ideas that's been unveiled in Las Vegas at a technology show this week. It's designed to carry a single person up to 10 miles.
So, my first question is, isn't that called a helicopter?
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's a drone, so it's controlled by a nerd on the ground.
That's right. Yeah,
what
absolutely.
What could possibly go wrong?
It's...
At least if you're flying in something where the pilot would die if he made a mistake as well, there's a bit of an incentive for it to get you down safely, isn't there? But when the person is when the pilot is safely on the ground and has nothing invested in this experience, that's got to be fraught with danger.
It looks like a small personal helicopter, but with those, those massive arms and the 4 propellers like drones have. This is the design. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. I'm not sure I want to be one of the people testing it, though.
I would say the same thing that the caterpillar said the first time he saw a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never get me up in one of those things.
Bob's Breakfast.
And how's this student, Hannah Speed? She's 19. She leaves home in Salisbury. She goes to Durham University. She's fiddling around on the internet and she sees a room on Airbnb for rent. It's her room at home. Her mother had let her room out. That's when she knew that she wasn't a kid anymore and now she was on her own. What was the moment that you realised this? Gary?
1976, just turned 16.
Yeah.
The lovely hot summer, which was very lucky for me.
Yes.
I left school on the Friday, went home, no qualifications, basically treated school as just a playground.
Uh-huh.
Walked indoors, and there on the table was a brand square suitcase, the old style.
Yeah.
With a couple of tank tops, maybe some flared trousers, a £20 note, and a one-way ticket out of New Street Station to London. And my dad said to me, he said, that's fun time over. You're on the first train out on Monday morning. Make a life.
A one-way ticket to London. And so, wow. So
and I was only 16, just turned 16.
So the Monday morning comes, you get on the train. What happens then?
I get on the train. I get off at Euston.
Yeah.
I wander around, wondering what to do.
Yeah.
End up. The first night I did slept rough.
Right. Wow.
I still had £20, which was quite a lot in them days.
Yeah.
I ended up in Waltham Cross.
Yeah.
The next day.
Yeah.
Looking through, just looking in shop windows, and there was a card in there.
Yeah.
Saying kennel hand wanted, living accommodation.
Yeah.
£16 a week, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I rang it up, a fella called Don Huckster. What's the name? He answered and I said, is the job still available? I'm standing in Waltham Cross. And he went, I'll come and get you. And I was there 10 years.
And it was a great job?
Well, I was there 10 years. We ended up I ended up falling on my feet because we had some very good dogs.
Yeah.
So basically, 10 years of my life training greyhounds.
And it was the making of you?
Well, I didn't go to prison, as what it said on my actual leaving form. A fellow called Mr. Tebbit, my deputy head, wrote on it, I will be very surprised if this child doesn't end up in prison.
Bob's Breakfast.
2 people made it safely back from the International Waste of Space Station.
They certainly did. An American and a Russian cosmonaut.
Is this Scott Kelly?
That's right, yes, Scott
and
Kelly.
Mikhail Kornienko.
Yeah.
What's the big deal?
They've been on board for nearly a year. They've been doing science experiments.
Yeah. There's no big deal here. Years ago, when we used to go to places, when we used to go to the moon, drive a car and hit a golf ball, it was a big deal. Now they go and sit in a tin can less than 200 miles away. That's all. That's where the space station is. It's not light years away. It's 200 miles up. And they go round and round and round and do boring experiments.
That's about the same distance from here to near where my parents-in-law live on the Lincolnshire coast.
Yeah, when you go up to Lincolnshire, does anyone greet you as a hero when you come back?
I feel like one
Yeah, I know.
half the time.
This Tim Peake is the biggest waste of space and waste of money, but for some reason it's captured the media's attention. We've had British astronauts before, except they flew for NASA. A lot of them had Michael Foale had American citizenship. It's just that this guy is actually still British, and this one is being paid for by us. This joyride in this tin can with a view. And this latest one, they've not even achieved that much. They did 341 days in space. Well, Vladimir Titov Musar Marinov did 365 days. Sergei Anvedev did 379.6 days. And Valery Polyakov did 437.7 days. So there are 3 men who have done much longer in space than these two. What are these tests going to show us that the tests on the previous 3 who were there longer didn't?
Well, do you remember when they went up there ages ago?
Yeah.
They said they were taking up seeds for rocket. And they were growing salad up in
to grow
space.
salad. Yes, they were going. Yes, space. They're thinking this is not boring enough. What's more boring than watching a bloke suck that globule of water in the weightless environment of space? The only show they put on these days. No driving a car on the moon. No hitting a golf ball on the moon. No. What's more boring? Let's grow salad.
And now,
Yes.
salad, which is returning to Earth,
Right.
is going on a tour of schools.
Oh, really?
It is.
No,
It's a
I'm
school
sorry,
salad
we are
roadshow.
not going to get the next gen. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of space. I'm
absolutely.
a space cadet. But I want to see something more exciting. When I was a child, the Apollo 10 capsule, the capsule that had orbited the moon, I went and saw it at the Liverpool show in Wavertree, Liverpool. It was on the back of a truck, and you could go and you could see it. And that has been to the moon. Wow. Okay, compare that, kids. This salad was grown in a tin can 200 miles away.
It's Bob.
Earlier, I spoke to James Spence, who was dressed in a, shall we say, adult leather outfit on his stag do and duct taped to a lamppost. And it turns out this is quite common. Tony.
Oh, yeah, we did that. We taped someone up to a lamppost, but we totally took all his clothes off through starkers.
Where was this?
It was in Harlow.
Yeah.
Church Langley in Harlow.
And how long did you leave him there?
Oh, God, he was there for about 2 hours.
No!
We could see him from the local pub. So we went to the pub, the Potter's Arms, and then we left him on the roundabout, taped up for 2 hours. But we were watching him. We could see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was starkers. So everybody was coming past tooting at him. It was funny. But it was in the summer, so it was nice and warm for him.
Yeah, but for 2 hours nobody rescued him?
No, nobody rescued him. No, not at all. Because we were quite close to him, so if anybody, they did stop, but we said, no, just leave him.
What was his name?
Oh, I'm not going to say his last name.
Does his missus know this went on?
Yeah, she did the next day, yeah, because he told her at the wedding.
Oh, good. This was the day before the wedding?
This is the day before the wedding, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, she thought it was funny.
Bob's Breakfast.
Almost got myself thrown out of a West End theatre on Saturday night.
What were you up to?
Well, I thought it was something quite minor, but it's something they don't take too kindly to. You know, for Christmas, Julie said, I don't want stuff, I want an experience.
Yeah.
So I got tickets to the Garrick Theatre in the West End to see a play called Red Velvet.
Okay, that's nice theatre.
Yeah, and not a musical. This is a proper serious play. Very, very good play, by the way. Excellent. So when I have a day out, I do like to take lots of pictures and tweet them. Twit pics. So we get to the theatre, and I don't know if you saw, I tweeted a picture of the stage from our seat.
I didn't see this, no.
We're in the third row,
Yeah.
right in the middle of the stage. So almost the best seat in the house, very close to it.
You don't want to be on the front row.
Bit too close.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was brilliant seats. So I twit picked a picture at the beginning of these are our seats. Look at this, the first half of the performance starts, and I know you're not supposed to. I quickly took a picture of the actors on the stage.
Yeah.
No flash. Very quickly, within seconds. It wasn't like I was taking a video or something. I just lifted up my phone, click, done. Right? So the interval comes, and the bloke, now Julie's on my left. There's a bloke next to me on the right that hasn't said a word. Well, he disappears. We didn't need ice creams or anything. We just sat there. He comes back, and within seconds of him coming back, I hear, "Sir, sir, sir," and it's an usher.
That's never good.
And I said, "Yeah? That photograph you took, can you delete it, please?"
What?
And I went, "Yeah, all right." She went, No, can you delete it now? All right. So I get my phone out.
Yeah.
And found the photo, and I deleted it. I said, "There you go, look, it's gone." Showed her the phone.
Yeah.
"Can you go into your deleted files and delete it from there as well?" I said, I don't even know how to do this. And the only reason why I deleted it so quickly, this is Julie's Christmas present.
Yes.
I'm not going to ruin the night out.
No, of course you're not.
Right? And there's hundreds of people in this theatre. They've come to see a show. They're getting one. I'm the show. I'm starring in a two-handed farce with this usher.
This is the halftime entertainment.
Halftime entertainment, like the Super Bowl. Like I'm Coldplay now. So I said, "I don't know how to do that." She said, "If you go into," I'm like, "Oh, come on. This is a full-on performance."
Well,
Everybody's
clearly,
watching and
if
listening.
you're asking how to delete this, that you're not going to be using this picture in the future.
Of course,
or
I'm
whatever
not
she's
technically
worried about.
minded. Yes. So I'm farting around with it, and of course we're right in the front of the theatre. This is not like we're hidden away in the back, and this is just going on quietly. This is now a lot of people craning heads from other rows, see what's going on. I'm like, and she goes, "No, you go in there." I find this file she's on about. It's all photos. So I go in there. I said, "I can't see it." She said, "It'll be at the top." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Find it at the top. Delete." I said, "There you go. Fine. Okay, thank you." So I sat down. I said, "Julie," I said, "Could you believe that?" And she's like, "No." She says, "Somebody's dobbed you in."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, yeah, who would? And then I'm thinking the bloke next to me who nipped out quickly and came back, he didn't come back with an ice cream. And he wasn't gone long enough to have gone to the toilet because there would have been a queue. It was definitely him.
You got a snitch in your midst.
Yes, definitely. What kind of... I was doing him no harm.
No.
I wasn't ruining it for him. Like I say, no flash, no fuss, no big deal. What's it to him? He's decided to go out of his way to potentially, because it didn't, potentially ruin the night for a total stranger. Who would do that? Ruin somebody's night? What kind of snivelling snitch would you have to be that mean-spirited that you thought, "Oh, that's against the rules, so I'm going to report you"? What kind of a person does that? Well, I thought, I'm not losing, I'm going to win.
Okay. Well, he's obviously met the wrong person.
Absolutely met the wrong person. Actually, before the curtain went up, I went to Google and I Googled the play and I Googled images and I found a picture from on the stage that was taken from about where we were sat. Right? A nice picture of the play in action from the first half.
Yeah.
Almost as good as the picture I'd taken. Very similar perspective. So I downloaded it. And I loaded it up onto the screen of my phone and I held it out. And I said to Julie really loudly, I'm holding the phone out at arm's length so this bloke could see it. And I went, "You know what? That's the best picture I've taken in here tonight. It's better than the one I deleted. Way better. That's the best picture. I'm glad she didn't make me delete this one." But right, I'm not having that. So, curtain goes up, second half, lights go down. Lights go down. And I notice this bloke next to me, he's got both elbows on the armrests and he's cradling his chin on it. I mean, he's really into this play.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, at least 50% of that armrest is mine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At least. And I'm taking no prisoners now. If this is the way you want to play it. So I got my elbow on it and I thought, I'll just touch his elbow. So I leaned so my elbow's touching his. How uncomfortable must that have been stranger touching public? I would hate it.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just touching it and enjoying the play. So then his elbow moves a little bit. It's only a thin armrest. His elbow moves to about halfway on the armrest. So I moved mine over and I'm touching again. So then his elbow comes off the armrest.
Yeah.
And he folds his arms. So I'm really onto it now. I'm really winning. So,
this is mind games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So then I moved my foot so my shoe is touching his shoe on the floor. And that lasted about 3 seconds and he moved his foot about an inch away.
Really?
So I counted to 10 and I moved it and I got it touching again. And then he moved his foot away again. So then I knew I had him because we couldn't have been 10 minutes into the second half. He's looking at his watch.
How long have I got to sit next
This
to
guy's crazy. So I could see him looking. He's got his arms folded and he's looking at his watch. He's having his night's ruined.
Yes.
Completely ruined. And he's squashed up in the corner of his seat now, getting as far away from me as he can. So then the play finishes, and it was a great play. Standing ovation. So we're all standing up and clapping. Of course, I'm clapping with my right hand elbow right out here, nudging him in. Right, every clap. There wasn't a clap I missed when he didn't get elbowed.
I bet you've never clapped so enthusiastically.
No, so enthusiastically. The elbow went in. The elbow went many times, 10, maybe 20 times. He literally got the elbow from me. So then I turned to Julie and said, because she's no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
She turned to her and I said, that was really good, wasn't it? She said, yeah, it was great. I turned and I looked for this other fella. He disappeared. He must have been the first person out of the theatre. Must have been.
He made me wonder what you were going to do right after the performance.
Well, if he'd have stayed, I was going to ask him, could I have a selfie with him?
It's Bob.
From Global's newsroom, I'm Fiona Winchester. David Cameron has died. David Bowie has died after
an embarrassing mistake. We've all made mistakes at work. I've made loads of them. In fact, you'll probably hear a few more this morning. So I'd like to know mistakes you've made at work. Natalie.
I was photocopying some music for my students.
Yeah.
And we were studying Dido and Aeneas. And I'd done it at university, so I thought, brilliant, I can use my resources that I used myself at university when I was singing Dido and Aeneas.
Right.
So I sent it all to be photocopied, and then in our first lesson, going through the pieces, we got to a page where I, as a university student, had graffitied all over one of the pages with not only rude words, but also rude pictures. And so my class of 5 A-level students saw what myself at 21 had been drawing.
No! Talking about being outside your comfort zone this morning, Chris, this is because a bloke's making the news. He's done this blog where for 2015 he did 52 things that were outside his comfort zone. Now, to be honest, flying to Berlin was one of them.
Why would that be out your comfort zone?
I don't know. Giving blood was another one, which shouldn't be outside your comfort zone.
No.
However, one of them, though, doing stand-up comedy, that would definitely be outside your comfort zone.
Oh, completely. That would be a real challenge. Didn't you do something like that?
Yeah, I sucked at that.
Did you?
Oh, I was... That is like... I tried at that. I think I ended up doing maybe 10, maybe 15 gigs, and then went, nah, this is just terrible.
I bet it's brutal.
It is. I mean, I think it was my second night was okay. No, the first one was okay. And I think like the second or third was pretty good. And I never got back to that level. Then they got worse, and every one of them after that was worse and worse and worse. I even crashed and burned in a comedy club in Denver, Colorado. So talk about outside your comfort zone. Let's do stand-up comedy, which you're rubbish at. Let's do it in another country.
To a country that has a completely different sense of humour.
Well, they couldn't understand. And it wasn't even like New York or LA, which are like cosmopolitan. It was Denver. And so they were just looking at me as if I'd arrived from another planet. I could see on their faces they were struggling to understand me.
Oh, right.
And the place, it was called I think it was called the 405 or something. It was actually the number of the street they were on. The street was called Broadway in Colorado, and this comedy club was called Club 405 or 119 or whatever. It was the number of the street that it was on. So that showed you how creative these people were. And I walked in there, and there were mullets. It was like a haircut museum. And at the back of the room, there were people playing pool.
Really?
Oh, it was just brutal. And I went on, the first couple of people that went on, the stuff they were doing, because I was doing all clean stuff.
Yeah.
And the stuff they were doing was filthy. They were talking about, what are roofies? Aren't they a date rape drug?
Yes.
They were talking about slipping women roofies, and it was just, no, it was hideous stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really going down well with the mullets.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I haven't got a chance. So I get up, and I'm with, it was because I was in Denver for a radio convention, breakfast radio shows, and I'm with, you know, Gene and Julie?
Yes.
The husband and wife team who do a breakfast radio show. They're in South Carolina now, I think. But they were working in Dallas at the time, and they were there, and they were coming to support me and whatever. And there was a producer from New York. There was like some radio people, and so I get up and I start off thinking I'll relate to them. And like the airport in Denver is like a 2-hour drive, you know, from the town. So I'm doing stuff like, you know, I flew in the other day, you know, that kind of great to be here kind of thing. But I wish you had an airport in the same state and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
None of it working. But them kind of being fascinated by this weird voice that they'd not heard. By the way, the comedy club next door to a gun shop, right?
Well, this was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Were there loads of pickup trucks outside?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Anyway, so it's next door to it's literally next door to a gun shop. So, and then I said, what was it? Oh, I said, the reason why I'm here is because there's a radio convention on in a hotel down the street, or, you know, downtown. I said, you know, all of the top radio talent from all over America is there right now. So, like, one finely placed bomb in that hotel, you'd change the face of American radio forever. And it got beyond silence. Oh, it was just really uncomfortable. And I felt it. And I thought, well, I've got to get out of this. So I said, oh, okay, fine. Terrorism makes you uncomfortable. I get that. It's new to you. Because in Britain, we grew up with it. You know, we had the IRA. In fact, every Guy Fawkes night, November the 5th, we have a whole celebration celebrating a terrorist who tried to... And I was digging a hole deeper and deeper and deeper. And then I was supposed to do, I think it was like 20 minutes, I don't know, like 14 minutes or something. I came off.
Yeah.
And I said to Gene, I said, well, I'm not sure that went too well. And he went, let's go. We ran out.
The car.
We ran out and hailed this guy who's a producer from New York. He ran into the street and hailed a taxi, and we got in the taxi and went, because I don't know what would have happened if I'd have stayed.
Bob's Breakfast.
Survey out today of hotels talks about some of the more unusual items left behind, including keys to a Bentley, £10,000 in cash, a mother-in-law, and a Shetland pony. I'd like to know what you've left behind. Where'd you leave it? What's the story? Karen?
It's something my husband left behind.
What was it?
Our newborn baby left it in the car.
What? How did this happen?
I had a hospital appointment. She was only a couple of weeks old. He dropped me and our eldest daughter off at the hospital doors, went to park the car, and when he came to meet us at the clinic, he was empty-handed. And after a minute I said, oh, and the baby? And he said some words and ran off.
Now, I suppose if he's a brand new father, he's not into the routine of keeping his eye on the baby. Maybe you could give him that?
No, second time around. He
all right.
He was there.
No excuse. Do you ever let him forget it?
Yeah, we're not together now, as in the ex-husband bit, so hey-ho.
Oh, it didn't work out?
No.
Well, I'm no marriage guidance counsellor, but I would say that kind of behaviour would have had a bearing on the fact that the marriage didn't work out.
Possibly.
Bob's Breakfast.
Pancake Day.
Oh, it certainly is, isn't it?
I remember when we first moved back to the UK in 1997, Julie had never heard of Pancake Day. They don't have it in New Zealand. And I said, oh, it's Pancake Day tomorrow. And Julie's like, what? I'm like, it's pancake day. She's like, what's that? I said, what's the day when we all eat pancakes? And Julie went, you have a day for that? I went, she said, this is the greatest country in the world. One-eyed monsters. Cars with only one working headlight. I'm being plagued by them, and I'm pretty sure I know why. It's because hardly anybody does basic car maintenance anymore. My dad was no mechanic, but he did every oil change on his Cortina himself. Most drivers these days wouldn't even know where to find the dipstick. Every morning on my 8-mile drive to work, I see the one-eyed monsters. At least one, sometimes as many as 4. That might not seem a lot, but considering I'm on the road before 5 a.m. and don't see that many other cars, that ratio pretty high. Changing a headlight, or even noticing that you've only got one, is one of the basics of car maintenance that people just don't do anymore. Okay, I have to admit, the last oil change I did myself was on my Ford Escort when I was 17. But at least I know how to check the oil. And it's easy to find the dipstick in cars being driven with only one headlight. It's between the steering wheel and the seat.
This is Bob FM.
Has a cruise ever appealed to you?
No, it really hasn't, because you can't get off the ship, can you?
Well, this is the thing, and looking at some of the pictures in the papers this morning, bad weather really affects cruise ships. A Royal Caribbean cruise ship is heading home after being battered by a hurricane over in the Bahamas. Passengers were being ordered to stay in their cabins as the world's third largest cruise liner was hit by 40-foot waves. It just looks horrific on this.
It's one of those most holidays, I suppose, are dependent on the weather, which you can't control. Cruising's never appealed to me, but yeah, you have I've been on the closest I got was a bad crossing on the Vomit Comet, which is it's a jet cat that goes between Poole in Dorset and Jersey.
I've
been on that?
Between, I think it was Dorset and Guernsey,
right,
which is a similar stretch of water, isn't it?
It's the same cat. You have a rough crossing on that, you know about it. Luckily, we flew to Jersey. It was because I was working for a radio station down there, and we had to do an outside broadcast from a hotel in Jersey. It was horrific. The tourist board were involved, and I fell out with them because I said something, and they didn't like it, and they wanted me to apologise, and the tourist woman was sat right in front of me the whole thing, and I wouldn't apologise, and I didn't. It got to the end of the show. Very awkward.
That's unusual for you.
Yes, and the Jet Cat people who were also sponsoring it, we went back on the Jet Cat, but the tide, we had to wait for hours for the tide or something. Anyway, we finally got on this thing, and we'd left on like Friday night, and this was the Sunday afternoon. I just wanted to go home. I was tired, and we got on this thing, and then the swell came up, and I swear there was a kid on the next kind of table to me, and I looked away and I looked back at the kid, and it looked like the kid had exploded. The kid was just covered in sick. The kid had I think the kid had we crested a wave. I think the kid had been sick, the boat had gone down, and then the sick came down on the kid. Looking for suggestions on what to have on your pancakes. Siobhan.
I have magic mushrooms on my pancakes.
Magic mushrooms, the ones that make you all trippy, like the LSD.
Yeah, the ones at the garden. Yeah.
At the garden. What do you go on a trip? All psychedelic. Yeah, I don't think you have magic mushrooms. That's all.
Oh, they taste magic.
I don't think that's why they're called the ones that are called magic mushrooms. I don't think they're called that because of the taste.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Bob.
Simon's on the phone. What do you think of this news? That Jerry Hall is engaged to be married to Rupert Murdoch.
Hold the front page.
Well, hold the front page of everything that he owns, which is almost everything, isn't it? Sky TV, Fox News, 20th Century Fox, The Sun, The Times. I mean, this is just unbelievable.
Crazy, isn't it?
Well, at least it shows that Jerry Hall isn't shallow and didn't go for someone just for their good looks.
This is Bob. Bob FM.
Scientists have discovered gravity waves. They reckon now they can see back in time and space to just after the Big Bang. Einstein predicted it 100 years ago. And now they've found evidence that he's right. And I have a theory of my own. The Graham Mack theory of everything. Inspired by the discovery of the gravity waves. Now what they're saying is they might be able to see back in time to just after the Big Bang. The Big Bang, the theory suggests that everything in the universe came from one thing. There was originally a singularity, one thing, and it exploded. And that explosion is the universe. All the bits of it, including you and me, were all stardust. It could explain my theory based on the fact that each successive generation of human beings is more stupid than the one before. My parents, I thought they were very clever. I still think they're clever. The things my dad could do, I cannot do. I could not build a garage out of bricks. I wouldn't change the oil on my own car. I wouldn't attempt some of the DIY things he does. Some of the mathematics that people can do on the fly like that, older generations. Chris Hubbard's father can do trigonometry in his head. So I will admit that I am more stupid than the people who came before. I also know that the generation younger than me are more stupid than me. You've probably found this in your own life. My theory of everything states that there is a finite amount of intelligence to go around. If we all came from the single source, there's nothing else being created. It all just comes from that one source. And human intelligence was part of that source. And now that the world is overpopulated, we've spread the total sum of intelligence much thinner than it used to be. Each generation, as the population increases, is having to take a smaller part of that intelligence. Intelligence is being watered down successive generation after generation. We are evolving in reverse. Eventually we will become amoeba. Pete, you've got something to say on this.
Graham, I want to read your book and join your cult. I couldn't agree with you more about the intelligence on this planet is becoming thinner and thinner.
It really is.
Tell me about it. I work a lot with the general public.
Yeah.
I can't believe how stupid and sometimes it's beyond belief how they're becoming brainwashed by TV. They believe that soaps are real. The characters are real.
And they talk about them as if they're real people. And they go, "Oh, did you hear what happened to?" And I've been caught out. There'll be conversations. Someone will go, "Did you hear what happened to her?" And she did this, and I'll be like earwigging, and I'll go, "Look, where's this happened?" And they've gone, "On Corrie."
Yeah, absolutely. I sort of get into conversations, and I sometimes think, well, am I actually from Mars? Because I don't know what's going on here.
What's the story about the smoking? More of our tax money is going to be used to get people to stop doing something that they want to do.
That's right, yes. Yeah, that's probably sums it up quite nicely, actually. Pregnant women, young people, two of the groups that council officials and the NHS are pledging to move away from smoking. I mean, pregnant women, it makes sense. Young people, it makes sense. You're not knackering your lungs up for the rest of your life. But yeah, they're wanting to sign this pledge
A pledge
to stop people smoking. So hopefully something good will come of this.
How about the people just stop smoking? I mean, the smoking thing is beyond me. It's written on the packet that this product, when used exactly as the manufacturer describes that you should use it, when it's used exactly that way, will kill you. Pretty much any other product that's dangerous, it's when you use it, abuse it. Like if you drive a car safely, you'll usually be okay. If you drive a car like an idiot, that's when it becomes a problem. No car manufacturer recommends you drive a car like an idiot. If you drink alcohol, even in moderation, you'll be fine. But if you drink it to excess, you'll have a problem. The people who say, please drink responsibly, the people who sell it. No one says, please smoke responsibly. Because it's not that kind of product. It's a kind of product that when it's used properly will probably kill you.
If you went into a supermarket and, I don't know, picked up a breakfast cereal that had a warning on the side that said, this product will kill you.
Yes.
You'd probably leave it well alone, wouldn't
Yes.
you? You wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Yes. What's going on with... Now, first of all, I can't work out how shops who sell cigarettes get around the assisted suicide rules. Because smoking is basically suicide. People know that it's going to kill them. If they do it enough, it'll kill them. And they know that. But it's not illegal to commit suicide in this country. So they can go for their life. That's freedom. But it is illegal to assist someone to commit suicide. And surely if you sell them the tools to do the job, it's like if you sell someone a gun, that's not assisted suicide because the gun is not designed for you to shoot yourself. But cigarettes are.
There's only one place that cigarettes go,
so that is you're working on assisted suicide. However, I have to hand it to the tobacco companies because that is the perfect business model, isn't it?
Why is this?
Did you know how we hear about these electronic cigarettes, which have now been approved by, there's an organisation, it is the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, British thing. These electronic cigarettes have been approved by the MHRA, which means they can now be classed as medicine.
That's right, yeah.
Right, and be prescribed. You can, if you want to give up smoking, you can go to your GP and say, I can't give up smoking. I want some of these electronic cigarettes. I don't want to pay for them. I want someone else to pay for them. Oh, fine. Yeah, we'll do that. And then our tax money is used to pay for electronic cigarettes. Do you know who owns the companies that make the electronic cigarettes?
I've got a sneaking suspicion.
It's the tobacco companies. British American Tobacco own that. Is it Evoke? There's one brand owned by British American Tobacco. So this is how this business model works. First of all, they sell you a product, cigarettes, that are highly addictive and deadly. When you've had enough of that and you think, you know what, I don't want to commit suicide the slow way. I want to quit this habit, but it's addictive. So I need to get some way of getting off it. So then the tobacco companies, the people who got you hooked on this thing that's killing you, they now sell you something else to get you off the product that they sold you to get you hooked on. And if you don't want to pay for it, they get the taxpayer to pay for it.
This is Bob.
If you want to dream tonight, wake up. Good morning. I'm Graham Mack, and that is the advice from experts who've done a survey. And they say that you only really dream when you're in REM sleep, which isn't the real deep stuff. The real deep stuff, you don't dream. So they suggest if you want to dream, you should set an alarm to wake up and then try and get back to sleep, and then you'll get to the REM stage of sleep and you will actually dream. So we're talking about dreams this morning, weird dreams, freaky dreams, recurring dreams. Nancy.
I can restart my dreams the next night.
What?
As long as I remember what I've dreamt the night before. So as I wake up, I remember the last scene.
Yes.
And then when I go to sleep, I think about it, and then on it goes again.
Another episode. It's like Netflix. If it's a box set.
Exactly. And it's just as actually, it's more exciting. Amazing dream. But I'm not a good sleeper, so that backs up your...
Yes, the research says that if you want to dream more, then the best bet is to wake up and then get back to sleep, because you'll go into a lighter sleep, a dream, the REM sleep. So what happened in last night's episode?
Oh, it was a bit scary last night.
Yeah?
It was all about a house and somebody chasing me through a house, but it was really interesting.
Right,
It was all a
okay.
bit, yeah,
So I bet you can't wait to get to sleep tonight to find out how it turns out.
absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
do you
'cause I
do an omnibus version on the weekend?
I would.
Bob's Breakfast.
Controversy this morning over tickets for a street party to mark the Queen's 90th birthday in the Mall. There's been all sorts of criticism because these tickets are going to cost £150 each. Her grandson has announced. Peter Phillips said the lunch on the 12th of June was a not-for-profit event and would have a carnival atmosphere. There's going to be 10,000 guests. They're going to be from the organisations associated with the Queen. 1,000 tickets, just 1,000, are going to be released in a public ballot next month.
Now, they're saying street party, which conjures up images of tables on the street, sandwiches, jelly, ice cream, that kind of thing. Is it an actual street party? Is it catered? What do you get for your 150 quid? Because if you just get to stand by the side of the road and watch a parade go by, that's not very good value.
I think you've more or less hit the nail on the head. No, they are promising entertainment. It's going to be on the Mall, so
yes.
It is on a street,
yes.
technically. But the exact details at the moment are still a bit sketchy. I mean, the party's guests are going to be given hampers of food at tables set up along the Mall.
Well, they're the guests. These are not the £150 a ticket people. You must get so for 150 quid.
You would think so, wouldn't you? They say they're going to have a carnival parade. The Queen and Duke of Edinburgh are going to take to a stage to listen to speeches marking the occasion.
So she doesn't like any of that. You know, whenever they do that, remember when they had that big concert outside Bookhouse for, was it the Diamond Jubilee or whatever it was?
Oh yeah.
And whenever she sits and she has to listen to performers, or that time they took her.
I remember.
She always pulls her face. She doesn't look like has anybody asked her what she wants? This nice old lady is being forced to listen to all kinds of things she's not into. She's nearly 90 years old. Does she really want to see some of this?
It was that big concert organised by Gary Barlow. That was
right,
a few years
ago. Now that, how that got past. Mom, we're going to put on a big concert and it's all organised by Gary Barlow. I'm out. I mean, right there. Did anybody want to see that?
Grace Jones will also be on the bill. Hula hooping. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It was just peculiar.
Yes, it was. Yeah, actually, that was probably one of the highlights.
That's all everybody talked about afterwards.
Because then we have to deal with Cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Gary Barlow.
Yeah. Remember Cliff being quite out of tune.
Yeah, a few of them were.
Yeah.
I think McCartney was okay.
Yes.
But the others, not so much.
Right. But this is
my point is, she never looks like she enjoys these things.
No.
Why don't they find out what she wants? She might just want to go to a harvester.
Bob's Breakfast.
Natalie, you tell me you're a talented singer, but you know, I need you to prove it.
I will.
Okay.
In a moment.
What do you mean in a moment?
When I'm not in the staff room.
Get out the staff room, quickly. Get out the staff room. Get out the staff
I'm
room.
going.
Okay, where are you going now?
What would you like me to
Well,
sing?
where is the staff room, by the way?
Next to reception.
Yes, I know. Which school?
Oh, Chauncey School.
Chauncey School. Okay, and you teach music there?
I do.
Okay,
yes.
All right. So, well, I'm going to leave the choice up to you.
Oh, goodness. There's so many songs. You put me right on the spot.
I am. Do you perform publicly as well?
I haven't done for a very long time.
Okay, well, but you know which one is the crowd pleaser?
Yes.
Yes, and I tell you what, we've got a lovely bit of echo in that corridor now. Lovely.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
It's great. It's going to sound great.
Okay.
Okay.
Think of a song, Glover. Come on.
What about a bit of an anthem, bit of a torch song? What about a bit of I Will Survive?
Because I won't know all the lyrics.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you know which ones the crowd liked. Which was your big number that you finished on?
I always finished on Somebody Else's Guy.
Oh, let's have a bit of that.
I can't get off my house, and I can't let you go. You are one who You are the one who makes me feel so real. Yeah. Oh, what am I supposed to do? Oh, what am I supposed to do, baby, when I'm so hooked up on you? Then I realize, that you are somebody else's,
Natalie, that talent is wasted at Chauncey School.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.
If somebody said to you you could fill your car up for a matter of 20 pence, you would be over to that petrol station in a shot, no doubt. Well, a computer glitch has allowed motorists in the US state of Ohio to fill their tanks for exactly that. Now, what happened is there was some sort of error with the petrol pumps, and it meant that some of the prices on Sunday morning went as low as $0.01 per gallon. This happened at one petrol station. That inadvertently then triggered a price war with a petrol station across the road who thought, hang on a minute, we don't want them all going over there.
He thought it was a stunt. Brilliant.
So they lowered their prices as well. So this was going on until the problem was all rectified and became clear a little bit later. But one customer said he filled his empty tank for 18 pence as a result of this, which was amazing. Understandably, people were queuing for miles to try and get some cheap petrol here. But the people across the road thought, you know what, we're not going to miss out on this. We need to stay competitive, as you might find if you go into Stevenage, the likes of Tesco and Asda competing. I don't know if they would do the same, though.
I don't know. I have experience of reducing petrol prices. As you know, I started out on the radio in Australia.
Yeah.
And the second radio station I worked for, I did the breakfast show at 5SE, was the name of the station, in Mount Gambier in South Australia. And for some reason, every weekend a petrol station was having a birthday.
Really?
It's the only place I've lived where petrol stations were continually having a birthday.
Yeah.
And so you could make extra money on the weekend if you went out representing the radio station. Mm-hmm. And you did, they call them an OB, an outside broadcast, and you would call into the station and say, I'm here at the BP on the such and such road and whatever, and it's their first birthday, it's an extravaganza, which meant they had balloons.
Crazy prices.
Come on down now, come and say hi. And then we'd have like 1 hour or something. There'd be a time limit where we'd reduce petrols to just a stupid price. So you would stand around. It was like you'd have to be there for like 4 hours. You'd stand around for 3 hours doing nothing. And you always have to blame the weather. Doesn't matter which way the weather's going, by the way. Because the manager of the petrol station, he'll always say to you, there's not as many people here as I thought there'd be. And you go, it's the weather, isn't it? And if it was raining, you go, this weather, no one wants to come out. And if it was sunny, you go, this weather, no one wants to come out of the petrol station. They're all down the beach. So no matter what the weather was doing, you blame the weather.
Yeah.
And hardly anyone would show up. And then you'd go, we're reducing petrol to something like 20 cents a litre or whatever the stupid price was. People would come from everywhere. They'd be queued up down the street. Most of them wouldn't get it in the time limit. There'd be that many cars. People would miss out. Because, of course, I was the one that had to put the fuel in. Because that was the deal.
Oh, right.
It wasn't like, you couldn't just show up and fill up yourself. I had to fill up all the cars. So they're getting angry and beeping that, no, I'm a bad guy. Horrible. Horrible. And to try and make people show up, you would have a sausage sizzle, not a barbecue. Because in Australia, barbecue, you have to have steak.
Right.
But a sausage sizzle, the radio station had its own gas barbecue. And you'd fry sausage.
That's a petrol station.
At a petrol station. So you're risking life and limb, right? You've got an open flame, pressurised gas. You're cooking sausages. No one's showing up. The manager's whining that there's nobody there. You're blaming the weather. And then for 1 crazy hour, you're putting as much petrol into angry people's cars as you can. I don't recommend Bob FM taking this from the Australians.
Bob's Breakfast.
Stop the show. Martin, you seem to be confused about some... now, Martin, let me just explain, has been flown in from Germany, especially for this program. He's an intern, which means he's learning everything. You're studying at a university college in Stuttgart?
Not in Stuttgart.
Where is it?
It's more towards the border of France. It's in Offenburg, which is
right.
sort of near Freiburg, would be the next biggest town you
that's
might know.
That's what I thought, yeah. Anyway, so you're learning everything. I'm learning about the geography of Europe through you, and you're learning everything about radio. And you say you've noticed... We went out for a curry because this is your last week. We went out for a curry on Friday night.
That's true,
You've noticed something as a result of the curry, something I haven't seen yet.
Yes, well, I've seen the photos yesterday. I got them sent. And,
yes.
I noticed that you always manage to look good on photos. You know, like some people always manage to have their eyes closed or look somehow in strange ways or whatever.
Yeah.
And you always manage to look good on photos. How do you do that?
Well, and this is true. When I'm having my photograph taken, I look down the camera as if I'm looking at Julie, my wife. I always look as if I'm looking at her.
Oh, right.
So I think something happens is I'm looking at somebody who I love. When someone looks at a photograph of me, they go, he looks like he loves me. That's my theory.
Well, that's quite nice.
I don't know whether it's something that you can steal. If you're worried about it, if you've got something coming up, a big event or a wedding or something, look down the barrel of the camera and look at the person you love the most. And I think you'll find you take a better picture.
Bob's Breakfast.
How'd you like £100,000? All you got to do is get hit by Jeremy Clarkson. This bloke that Clarkson lamped is now getting 100 grand. Tell you what, and he only hit him once. Clarkson could hit me all day for that kind of money, I tell you. So this morning we're talking about when you've managed to get an apology and maybe it was even worth something. Now, I managed to do this. There is a well-known telecommunications company that messed me about, meaning that we didn't have a working telephone over the Christmas period. And I rang them up and said, you know, this isn't good enough and whatever. And they offered me compensation of £14. So I thought, well, I'll go for it here. I said, no, I think I was looking for a figure of more like 100. They said, oh, we'll call you back. They called me back, gave me 65 quid, which I think is the result. What do you think, Keith?
I think you've done well, actually.
Yeah.
I've been fighting with you for years myself.
Yeah, well, hey, don't be ringing the faults line. You got to ring the customer care line. It's the only way to get anything done. Customer care.
In this game, I'm in customer care as well, and people you always try and be nice to them. I would give them a shirt off my back if need be, but
yeah.
So if you phone me, I'll give them a shirt off my back.
I used to run a radio station on the South Coast, so when people used to call up and complain, usually about something I'd said, rather than them go to Ofcom, I used to bribe them. I used to give them cinema tickets or albums or concert tickets or whatever I had lying about, because we always got free stuff. And I used to go, you know, thank you very much for calling up. I will tell the presenter. I wouldn't tell them they were talking to me. And I used to just bribe them. I used to give them stuff. Once you've given them something, there's no way they're going to take it further. They'd have to be a real horrible person to do that. And half the time, they just want to get it off their chest anyway.
Yeah, so you act as ombudsman for all your listeners.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Well done, mate.
I'm Graham Mack, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, make sure you share it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can subscribe at iTunes. Superman is real. He actually saved a lady who was being robbed at a cash point machine in Gloucester. Bloke dressed as Superman. Now, he wasn't a superhero. He was wearing the costume for a charity thing, but he saw her being attacked through the window while he was having breakfast and ran out and helped her. So I'd like to know your fancy dress story. What's yours, Mark?
Well, my missus was going out with her friends to a fancy dress party, and I was invited, and I was like, no, I'm not going to go. But I'd made arrangements with her friends to go.
Okay.
So I went out and bought a Darth Vader outfit with a voice changer, the big black cape, the mask, everything else, the lightsaber.
Yeah.
They all went to the pub. I turned up a little bit after she had got there. She didn't know I was there. I had this mask on. She went to the bar. I stood at the bar beside her with the voice changer on and started trying to chat her up.
Right.
And she just looked at me and went, "Go away."
You freak.
Yeah, exactly. She was like, Go away. Not interested. I was laughing, and she couldn't work out, and she was talking to her friends, and like, oh, that bloke's trying to chat me up. And then when I took the face mask off, I got a cut around the ear roll.
Well, fair enough too.
Bob's Breakfast.
I'm Graham Mack, and I have the answer to Britain's childhood obesity epidemic. It's really simple. Data from the Health Survey for England shows that 31.2% of children aged 2 to 15 are classed as either overweight or obese. Why is that? I was a skinny kid. Most of my mates were skinny kids. We were all scrawny. Because compared to today's kids, we ate less and moved around more. That was because food was not that big a deal to us. There were only two things that mattered back then: watching TV and playing out. And when we watched TV, we did it without being exposed to shows about food. There were only two celebrity chefs: Fanny Craddock and the Galloping Gourmet. And only your mother watched them. And watching telly back then was a physical activity. To change channels, you had to get up out of your seat, walk across the room and push a button. You'd dive behind the couch to hide from the monsters on Doctor Who. And you'd rhythmically hit a younger sibling in time to the tune of all of your favourite shows. By the way, Blue Peter and the Banana Splits inflicted the most pain. As soon as a particularly good show like Thunderbirds or Captain Scarlet had finished, all the kids in the street would run outside and act out the entire show, even in the winter, when a balaclava on backwards transformed you into Spider-Man. And meal times, they were no fun at all, just boring. Mum's cooking was ordinary. Fanny and Graham Kerr never really rubbed off. We almost never ate out, and school dinners were horrible, as they should be. Now we live in different times. You can't turn on the telly without seeing someone sautéing, flambeing or pureeing. It's a constant stream of ready, steady, can't cook, won't dine with me, bake-off, MasterChef kitchen. The reason we have fat kids now is because of celebrity chefs. And I'm looking at you, Gordon, Ainsley, Nigella, Heston, Mary, and the rest, but most of all you, Jamie. Jamie Oliver. The Mockney naked chef. He's turned food into an obsession. He's made the chore of preparing meals look like fun. Cooking shows have replaced entertainment. Not only that, he's actually made food taste good. He's got mums the length and breadth of the country buying his cookbooks and making delicious meals at home. His biggest crime? He's made school dinners edible. How dare you? Now look at the size of British kids. The really sinister thing, though, about Jamie Oliver is that he's become very powerful. When he's not causing childhood obesity, he's busy cozying up to politicians and getting them to place the blame elsewhere. His latest recipe involves putting the government into a pressure cooker until they introduce a sugar tax. Unless Jamie Oliver is stopped, within the next 10 years, skinny kids will be extinct.
This is Bob.
Fancy dress stories this morning. Ben, what's yours?
A few years back, a friend of mine had his 21st birthday party, and it was fancy dress.
Yeah.
My girlfriend decided to go as Catwoman, and I decided to go as Busby the BT Bird.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Great night. Really enjoyed ourselves. Unfortunately, on the way, when we got home, I'd realised I hadn't got the keys to the house.
Right.
So, as we were quite in a jolly mood, I saw a window that was open.
Yeah.
A top window on the ground floor, and I thought, you know what, I can climb through that, not a problem.
Right.
Unfortunately, after my girlfriend gave me a boost up and pushed me through, halfway through I got stuck in the window.
Right.
Whilst I was stuck halfway in with halfway out in a yellow feathered suit with orange stockings and bird feet, I heard a voice saying, "Hello, sir, what have we got here?" I looked through the window and it was a policeman.
No.
Someone had actually reported a burglary.
Right.
And whilst I tried to explain I'd been to a party and it's my house, after the fits of laughter, he phoned the station at Hitchin.
Yeah.
And said, "It's a false alarm, but I've got Busby and Catwoman in custody." And all I heard was on the radio was the controller laughing, like wetting their pants. And with his assistance, he managed to push me through to the window so I could get in and get out from the other side. I think that was probably one of the most embarrassing moments of my life.
Bob's Breakfast.
Well, an archaeological site in Mexico is going to start charging tourists for taking selfies. Those people who run the walled Mayan archaeological site in the Tulum National Park have decided visitors will have to pay for the luxury of using their phones there because basically several people have suffered selfie-related deaths. They say that there have also been injuries as well. Now they're going to be charging people £1.70 a shot to make them think a little bit more carefully.
That's a shame that they're charging, because I like the selfie. I often take selfies. I'm somewhere, I'll take a selfie. One of my favourites is at Piccadilly Circus. I've done it a few times. In fact, you've stolen my idea.
I nabbed your joke.
I take a picture of me at Piccadilly Circus and tweet it with the caption, "It's like Piccadilly Circus round here." I can't get enough of that one. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. But I often, wherever I go, if there's something interesting in the background, I'll take a selfie. And I much prefer it to what you used to have to do, which is you used to have to give your camera to a total stranger.
That's right.
To get a photograph with you in it. And I was never comfortable with that. And it still bothers me now. If I'm lining up a selfie, because I like to frame them and line them up, if a total stranger comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you want me to take that for you?" I need to find a nicer way of telling them to get lost. Because I've got it, I think the last one we got, which was awful, and it's a terrible picture. We were at a Buddhist monastery in Tokyo. When we lived in Tokyo, we went out to this Buddhist monastery to see what goes on, and I've got a brand new iPhone, and I'm lining it up as the selfie to get me and Julie in it, and it's pouring with rain, so I'm holding an umbrella as well. So it looked like it was a bit of a job for me, but I was happy with it.
Yeah.
And this lady came up. She was really nice. She said, "Would you like me to take the picture of the two of you then?" And she was so nice. And I said, "Yeah, go on then." But I thought she was going to steal my new iPhone. She's going to run off with it. So you got this picture of Julie holding the umbrella and me holding the umbrella, and we look kind of on a Buddhist monastery in the background. But my face is the face of, is she going to nick that?
Bob's Breakfast.
Fancy dress stories this morning. What's yours, Sam?
My friends had a joint 25th birthday party.
Yeah.
And they had a theme, and it was a children's party. So I thought, I've got no idea what to go as. Limited funds because I wasn't being paid very well, so I couldn't go flash all out on a costume.
Uh-huh.
But I managed to find a fancy dress shop that had, it was like, God, this is going to sound awful. Please don't get the wrong idea. It was like a giant baby costume. Oh, dear God, I'm cringing now just at the thought of it. I had the big nappy, the booties, the bonnet, the bib, the whole lot.
The giant dummy?
No, I didn't have, I refused. I had that around my neck.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, my sister decided, well, you know, I'll drive you. And I'd got ready at my mum's in Stevenage, so my sister drove me over to Chewin, sorry. And I had no cash on me, so I asked my sister to pull up at a cash point in Stevenage Old Town so that she could go and get some money for me.
Yes, good plan.
And I gave her my card, I gave her my PIN number, and she just looked at me and she went, no, you do it.
Oh, no!
Honest to God, Graham, I can't remember the last time I was that embarrassed. That little moo bag made me get out of her car in the middle of Stevenage Old Town, dressed as a giant baby, to get my own cash. I mean, that's just mean. And how many people were out in Stevenage Old Town at that time on a Saturday night? Lots.
Oh, no, I'm feeling your pain.
Oh, it was so embarrassing.
Bob's Breakfast.